Good morning. Hello. Welcome to day 3 of storytelling. I'm having such a good time remembering each day of the trip and the adventures and looking at my trinkets one by one. Already up to day 3 of the Sierra Nevada 2023 yarn crawl. Only one day left of hearing me repeat that over and over again. I highly encourage, if you have a little yarn crawl, however many stores are participating, go. It's not necessarily about saving up as much money as you can and doing your big buys. Even if you just picked up one hank of yarn or one item to remind you that we have an amazing community, in person, apart, online, randomly stumbling across in your everyday life. Yarny people are out there. It's nice to feel included, and the yarn crawl really did give a chance to relax and see what other people are working on in person and appreciate those tiny stitches. Let's see, day 3. If I had to put a label on day 3, I would say day 3 was like the most chill, relaxed driving day. It was the day where we spent the most time driving through the mountain range and trees and just beautiful view. So on one of the last adventures of day 2, we went to Sundance Books and Music. Huge, beautiful home that was turned into a bookstore. But we got there at closing time, so we wanted to go back. The store opened at 9, and we knew that for day 3 we had 2 or 3 stores planned. We could have just done the 2 if we ran out of time, because we were driving from Reno, Nevada to South Lake Tahoe. And our last store that we stopped at could very easily have been done the next day. I also had a trunk of books that I wanted to just disperse. So we started out pretty early on day 3. We checked out and we went over to the Hobby Lobby Starbucks to check on their holiday cups and just to get a little coffee. There was a cafe next to the Sundance book and music shop, but we weren't sure about the lines, and this was the same weekend as the huge motorcycle groups were showing up. So it's Saturday, it's packed. We were sure that the little restaurants would be full. Motorcycles and coffee, they got to go well together too, right? So we grabbed some Starbucks, and that took a little longer than expected in the lobby. A lot of people were doctoring some hangovers in the casino. It was fun. So we got over to the bookstore and wandered around, and I found quite a few framed pictures that had historic events through the bookstore. It's amazing. So I kind of got to see a museum too. One of them was an older woman came in, and she wrote a letter to the shop owner appreciating that the home was being used as a very positive place of education and sharing. She wrote a brief little description about getting married and walking down the staircase. So it was beautiful. So we did that. We still had some coffee. We still had some leftover dinner from the night before when we went late to the casino cafe. So I had a grilled cheese sandwich for breakfast too. And we started our drive. Wandered through Reno a bit more, and we started heading towards the mountain range. Beautiful. We were driving through meadows filled with raw yarn, sheep. Lots of cows wandering through there, and just meadow. And then as we got closer and closer to the mountain range, it got larger and larger, and I kept looking at the mountain range like, I don't see a road. I don't see a passage. It must just all be blending in. And we wound around quite a bit, and we ended up in this tiny little town called Minden. And in Minden is Knits and Knots Minden, a cute little shop tucked away back off of the main road a bit. I did see some grocery stores, some schools, very small town. And Knits and Knots Minden is a sister store. I'm going to set my coffee down. I have some things to show. It's a sister store. There's also Knits and Knots in Tahoe. Knits and Knots in Tahoe was the first store, which I'll visit a little bit later with you today. It was started by two moms with children, and they homeschooled the children in the shop, and that was their adventure, was to open this store, and they've since opened another one. So let's see, Knits and Knots in Minden. Okay, so we're still working on the same map. So we only have 4 left. We got Knits and Knots in Minden on here. That would have been fun if I would have printed out the map. Saving paper. Save the trees because I drove through them and I appreciate them a little bit more. So here's our little stitch marker. Knits and Knots Minden. And it has the classic little ball of yarn. I only got the one from that shop that day. Oh, cute little shop. Tons of fun things. They had a trunk show. They had the cowl kits. And then they had their own kit. And then they have a really nice, so when you walk in, there's like a big coffee table with couches all the way around it. Very easily imagine that people get together and sit and knit and crochet and laugh and have a great time. It seemed like a very cozy, welcoming place. One of the employees, oh, dang it, I can't remember her name. She had a beautiful sweater on that she had knitted, and I know it wasn't raglan style, but lots of color work on it. But the colors that she used were like bright pink neon, and just, oh, I really, really want to learn how to do that. At the coffee table, they had a basket full of needle point protectors, and I dug through all of them. Oh man, did I dig through them. So I knit socks, and I've knitted a sweater, but I wouldn't say that I'm a skilled and confident knitter at all. But when I knit my socks, I take my hank and I cake it into 2. I eyeball it just as close as I can, not picky. And then I work them cuff, cuff, heel, heel. I've tried the little magic work 2 at a time. It did not feel like I was doing magic. I felt like I was pulling teeth. So I get them going in 2, and then I keep it going. I know myself. I know I suffer from second sock syndrome, and I would end up with a lot of mixed matchy socks. So I wanted needle point protectors to keep my project on the needles, and to keep my points nice and pointy and not banged up in a travel bag. And so I've always looked for sets of 4, which I find sets of cute 2s all the time, but they're kind of pricey. They're about $10. So I was just looking for a little something. Well, I found these cute little balls with neon glitter inside of them. Well, not glitter, just little sprinkles, sparkles in them. And it came with 4, and they're like silicone. Needle. And they're small enough. And that is secure and snug without causing too much force on the point of my needle. So I picked up those. And then along the YouTube streets, I have seen little, they're called many different things, but you get your cake of yarn and you're working it up and it's in your bag and it's rolling around. We have yarn cake cuffs. Then I found these cute little stars and purple, and they had 2 matching, which I wanted 2 matching, and they go around They go around your cake, and they stretch quite a bit. It's like a little kid's sock, which gives me some ideas that I should be maybe knitting some of these, which I can with my little sock scraps. And so then you keep this, and then you can still center pull from that. And as it collapses, it pulls down on itself, keeping your yarn potentially tangle free. So I got 2 of those. The atmosphere was fun. We got our stamp to enter into the end of the day, at the end of the trip, and then we entered for the gas raffle. And then next door there was a little cafe with good music. They had pictures and paintings and art all over the walls, and they had big cozy couches and seats. It was just an amazing little coffee shop. And I got a hot chai. Oh, the spices were so well balanced. It was delicious. And we sat for a little while because that was kind of an early morning. Our next little shop was about, I think it said 30, 45 minutes. We're still pretty early in the day. So we just took some time to sit, just enjoy some music, sip on some chai. At this point, it was my sister-in-law and I. Her friend had to turn around and go back. So we sat and we talked and we enjoyed and checked in with the family a little bit. And we just found a cozy place to just be. You know, sometimes trips are all about rushing and getting where you need to go and staying on schedule. Sometimes trips, come to a point where you just get to sit in a hot tub and soak your dogs for a little bit. We had fun. Sorry, I'm wiggling. I wanted to put my little agenda. I'm talking about relaxing. I needed to tuck my agenda into the cart so that I can remember to talk about everything. So then our next trip, we started heading up towards the mountains. As we got closer, there's beautiful trees. I took a couple pictures for you guys. I'll put it at the end. I'll try. We need to keep these shorter so I can actually attach them. Otherwise, I got to do the editing when I attach it to the end, and I know it shrinks the video. I'm sorry. It's like I want to show you guys the pictures, but if I make it a second, I'll figure it out. There will be pictures on the channel. Come back and visit me, please. So we headed up towards the mountain, and it wound around, took tons of pictures. The air quality is amazing once you get away from the city and the temperatures start dropping. And then we came to a fork in a mountainous road where we had to make a choice. It seemed like a main road, and then it seemed like a very small, windy, couldn't see where it was going. Well, Google Maps was telling me to take the little windy road. So we took the little windy road, and we went through a few clusters of alpine ski villages with ski lifts coming down across the little road. And then at one point it split again and it told us to take the one-way road. It's so odd seeing an alpine ski village in the summer. There's no snow. Everything's exposed. It doesn't look like the winter wonderland. It looks abandoned and spooky. Some of them are just perched on the side of the mountain. I know that it's bedrock, but they're glued on the side of the mountain. And, whenever I get in the snow, I keep reminding myself, everything's slippery, everything's slick. You're going to go down. Well, seeing places to sleep stuck on the side of the mountain. We round around and we got up to this parking area, and it said we'd arrived, and it was a huge cabinous, a hotel, beautiful lodge. And down below we could see a table with a whole bunch of beautiful yarn on it. And we got out and walked over, and we were instantly greeted with a huge smile and thank you for coming to the knitting nest. It was a nest, like a treehouse style nest on the top of this huge mountain, perched up there. And all this yarn was the golden eggs. Like, it was incredible. On their clearance table, there was some cashmere for extremely affordable prices. And just beautiful yarn. Oh, it was incredible. And we got our stamps. And there was 3 little containers. We had, let's see. We had this year's stitch marker. We had last year's stitch marker, the Knitting Nest. We had last year's stitch marker. This is Nevada. Technically, it was stateline, but Nevada. And then there's another little bucket that said, oh, the year before that. You know what? I think I got 2 from the year before that, and I didn't get, this year had just the ball of yarn. Oh, well, they're 2 different colors. I don't mind. Oh, it's okay. 3 stitch markers marking a very, very special little cozy place. And so when we went in, it was a step down into this little shop, this little cozy, warm little shop. They had amazing carpeting. I know, right? After day 3 of vacationing, I wanted to curl up and take a little nap amongst the yarn. They had so many up the wall, nice displays. Everything was color coordinated. I took a picture with the treasure I found. So I looked at the Knitting Nest the day before online just to see, like, what's their specialty, what's their fun part. And I noticed on the Knitting Nest, on their website, they have an amazing sale. They had, don't know if they still do, they had a variety of Noro for 50% off. Noro gets pricey, and that's why Noro is like the one yarn that I just always dreamed of working with. Not extremely picky about what kind. Well, in the back corner, they had some Noro into little display cubes that grabbed my eye and shook me. I'm going home with you. You're not leaving me here on this mountain. I'm coming down to the mainland. Look. Look. Oh. And it smells like cedar and mountains. You ready? I'm still not ready. I bought a sweater quantity, 5 skeins of Tahoe, T-A-I-Y-O. I'm probably butchering it. It's sock yarn, but I'm not making socks. I'm gonna make a garment. I have a garment quantity of Noro. So let's see, there's, that's not true to color. Why does my bedroom film like this? I'll take this outside today and see if I can get some juicy, luxurious pictures. So we have a dark plum, a lavender, like a sea foamy green, but like a fall sea foamy. And then we have, okay, so I picked this one up. Love the colors in it, and it says it's color number S33. So then I started looking at them all, and they all of these say S33. That shows a dark mossy green, and so they're just wound from the inside out, from the outside in. And so each one was showing me that's a rosy, pinky color, all these different pops of color that are going to emerge. And the shop owner, Lauren, could see how thrilled, how excited I was to be able to embark on this adventure. And I told her I've never worked with Noro before, and this was definitely the opportunity and the time, and everything was coming to place, and I was ready. such a beautiful family. So the shop is run by Lauren, and her dear sister's there, and the cutest little kiddos I can ever meet. One of them was running around looking at rainbow bats and yarn that was not spun much, but fluffy and delicious. And she's just excited to see so many people to come visit. And I believe maybe her mom and her dad were there. And the gentleman was so charming. He even went, "What did you pick? Can I see?" And everyone was so friendly. It's a family-owned business, and the family is right there, and the family is excited and happy and excellent hostesses. And so then there were lots and lots of magazines, and I'd picked up a few Noro magazines here and there. But when I was looking through this one, yes, we got a little bit of a neck. It's a very A-line raglan type, comfort in the arms, and then this lacy luxuriance, blah. Yeah, that's the pattern. So I was flipping through the book. I apologize, I didn't mark it. I was thinking about how I have sweater quantity, but I am a plus size. I don't want to make it for my old body size. I want to make it for my current body size, because I do enjoy wearing things oversized, comfy, and loose. So I don't want to make it too big now and then it's just sloppy big later. So my idea is I want it to fit me now. I want to enjoy this now. And then as soon as it's done, and then I want to enjoy it forever. So the fit, if I make it comfortable now, will be comfy, looser later, is my theory on this. I don't want to make things in hopes that someday it fits, or that to stop my growth, it's always a challenge, right? What size? Look, I'm gonna make it the slightly longer. I do like the 20 inches from armpit to natural waist, to my natural waistline. Might make it slightly less than that depending on how much I have, but I'll start with the sleeves. Look. I'm gonna start with those luscious sleeves, and then I'll work as much in length that I can get. So this pattern is called Paradise Found. It is knit. I can't give away too much of the details. It is a raglan sleeve top. It's worked front triangular, back triangular, neck added later after the sleeves, the lacy sleeves. It is a one-page pattern. It has a chart and it has written instructions. There's not too many crochet acrobats. Amanda, look what I'm gonna make. So we have knit on the right side, knit on the wrong side, purl on the right side, and so it passes on. There's some yarn over twice. We got some slip stitches, and then we've got some knit two together. That's socks. Essentially, that's socks. I am so excited about this pattern that this will be encouragement to expand on my knitting a bit. I'm going to give myself full grace on this without a time limit. It's Noro. I do have the knitting needles. I have plenty. It calls for 5 balls of the Noro. This is my yarn crawl project. You gotta get that one project that's like, this is gonna represent it all. I did get that glittery stuff on day 1 that will also represent the trip. So from there, and that amazing family, I just wanted to stay forever. They do have a lodge that with cozy little nooks and couches and fireplaces, where you can go and warm after a day in the snow. I was thinking how incredible would it be to take the whole family, go on a trip to the snow, let them go out and get cold and frosty and worn out and tired, while I can go downstairs and pick out some yarn and sit by the fireplace and then welcome my family back into the warmth when they get back. I'm not a snow person. You know, I wonder, can we go stay at the lodge and just enjoy the alpine fresh air on off season? But they do. So from there we drove back the wrong way on the one-way street, got honked at, turned around, went back down the other way, deforked myself back to the main road, and we drove through some more trees, and it was winding down, coming down into Lake Tahoe, and we looked up and they'd had a previous fire, which is devastating, but beautiful in its own way in that it's coming back. And the sparse tree line could show a raging waterfall coming down the mountain. My sister-in-law was encouraged to take a picture, take a picture. Well, I'll get her to send me a few snapshots if she will, and I can add them to the end of the video. And we came down into Tahoe, and we're starving, we're hungry. So it's one more shop. Let's do one more shop because it's right next to the main strip through Tahoe. And as we're coming down into it, I saw the Tahoe Library. I have a cousin that used to live in Tahoe, and when it gets snowed in or it's busy season, the people that live there are working. They've got work to do. They're hosts and hostesses, and that is their busy time, and they don't get out of town much. And it's not safe with the snow and the roads and just busy time and everything else. They don't get out much, and that's knitting and crochet season. So I had all those, still had 2 bags of books in the trunk of my car. We went to the Tahoe Public Library, and I donated them to the Friends of the Library. Some of them will be free, and then some of them will be $1 or less than $1 for the locals to come and have some new fresh patterns for their community, their fibery community. The librarian was very excited to have them, and I was very pleased to pass them along. Books and patterns are not meant to be hoarded. I've enjoyed them. I've picked and chose which ones I was going to work for, and now it's time to let them go to leave space for all this new stuff to come into my life. So excited about that. Someone will, next year when I go, somebody will be wearing a pattern. I'll say, that looks very familiar, but and absolutely beautiful on you. So then library, and then we went to Knits and Knots Tahoe. The sister from the Minden store. The original store had recently had a loss. An unexpected passing of a young lady, one of the little girls that was raised in the shop. And we'd seen posts on Instagram, you know, that it was a very sensitive time for the family, and that if you'd like to leave a note of love, they had jars setting out, and that it was very emotional, and that the store would be opened by friends and family, because this is, you know, a very big time for these little yarn shops to make some money, to have the company, and to help online sales continue then through the rest of the year. And they had a table outside, and they were winding hanks of yarn for a donation to the family. And I didn't have a project doing. I finished as much whips as I could before I left. Finished as much as the whip pile as I could. And I wasn't working on anything. I was looking at all this delicious yarn, and I wasn't working on anything. So I asked the woman if she would cake up a hank of the yarn that I picked from Jimmy Bean Wools. This little delicious cupcake right here. She did her best to do 50-50, but again, not picky, and I was making her really nervous with it because I think they're 100-gram hanks, and I think she likes to weigh it 50-50 to make sure that I would have enough for each sock. I kept ensuring her, I'm on vacation. I don't stress. I'll figure it out. So they wound that one for me, and wonderful conversation, and we went in. There was a trunk show for Rad Yarns, hot pink, beautiful, hot yellow, neon green, all the pretty stuff. And it had the Barbie theme. So then there was like a mini kit, and it was called like Barbie's Dream House, and all the yarns had little sassy names to them. It was fun. It was exciting. Lots of other yarns. Oh, amazing yarns. And then I noticed that there was a line on the wall, and it was called the Dreams in Color. And she's the dyer of that line of yarn. So it all full circle came back around to me. And so since I had my hank caked, I didn't have any knitting needles with me. So my idea with knitting needles, I have collected and hoarded so many crochet hooks. I don't want to do that with knitting needles. So I have a few brands that I really, really like, and I want to buy the set, but I don't want to commit to a full interchangeable kit until I've tested out and seen, because I'm left-handed. I don't want to get stuck with a Susan Bates. I know some of you like Susan Bates. As a left-handed crocheter, Susan Bates glares at me. I bought some luxurious hooks. Let's see. Lykke. Like. I'm sure I'm butchering that too, right? This is driftwood wooden needles. I got US 2. I usually get 9-inch circulars. These are 12, which is fine. I think I could use the 12. My husband, between his heel and the top part of his foot, these socks stretch and stretch and stretch, and then on the 9-inch. So I'm hoping the 12-inch is the difference. They're beautiful. One end is light and one end is dark, so you can tell your left from your right. That won't make a difference when I'm working the socks. I could usually tell the right side from the wrong side, but I got the 2 of them. I got 2 of them. And later that night, I cast on, after the hot tub, I found a, stitch marker. Knits and Knots Tahoe. I've been to this store before when we've been to Tahoe. I think I've been about 2 or 3 times to this store. The atmosphere this time was different, rightfully so. It was very nurturing. It was very calm. It was very accepting. And it was crowded. It was packed. So I'm glad to see that a lot of people were coming in showing support. On the clearance rack, they had this book. It's a thick pattern book, and then it had a bonus book. Kata? K-A-T-I-A, Katia. There are some gorgeous patterns in here. And I didn't know because it was all wrapped up, but it says all seasons. And there is some amazing stuff. This yarn, I bought it because of the yarn. This yarn is luxurious. Had a chance to touch it and feel it, and I liked it. So I thought the pattern book would be amazing. And at that point, I hadn't collected very many patterns yet. For the yarn I already have at home that I said I wasn't going to buy yarn for. Oh, well. So then we went down the street just a little bit, and we found an Italian pizza place with some pizza oven, fire crisp crust. And in Nevada, on that side of the state line, they have liquor stores. They don't sell liquor in the grocery stores or in the shops. It's a liquor store. So we picked up some beer, and we went and checked into our motel. It was different. It was a motel, the kind where you pull in and it loops around. You park in front of your room. The swimming pool and hot tub are in the parking lot in the middle, fenced off. And we went in, and it was small and quaint, and the lady was super nice, and she said, "We've drained the pool." It was already kind of chilly. I was looking forward to the hot tub, and she said, "But the hot tub's still open." Absolutely wonderful. So my sister-in-law and I got our stuff all situated with bellies full of pizza. We went and jumped in the hot tub. It was amazing. We were the only people in the hot tub the whole night. We talked, we sipped on our cold beer, relaxed, and just nowhere we had to be, nothing we had to do. Wonderful. I guess every stress and care in my body just melted away. It was a wonderful evening. I had a great time. And when we turned to Jello, we went back to the room and I cast on some socks and we knitted for a little while, and that was day 3. Day 3 was amazing. It was relaxing. It was enjoyable. It was filled full of wonderful treasures. I had an amazing day 3, and I hope that you enjoyed hearing about day 3. And hopefully next year for the Sierra Nevada Yarn Crawl 2024, you all come to California and we take this road trip together. I'm going to attempt to attach some pictures at the end of the video. If there are no pictures at the end of this video, I will shortly post another video attaching just pictures and some music. We'll see. I'll do my best. Thank you very much for coming and visiting with me today. I'm really enjoying the recaps. And I'm awake now, so I think I'll get dressed and start the day in the real world. Goodbye.